We are now in week 7, and we are now towards the second half, and we are running more closer to the end of the lectures now compared to where we were 7 weeks ago. So, what have we done so far? We started to talk broadly about what global challenges are, what kind of business environments are we working in at the moment, how do those challenges then impact businesses and impact society. And there were lots of challenges that you actually mentioned: unemployment, uh, global conflicts, supply chain pressures, people, unsustainable consumption, recycling. There are lots of things that are happening right now. But then we selected one particular one out of that, which was also linked to the Sustainable Development Goals. That was SDG number 13, and SDG 13 is climate action. So we looked at climate action in detail in the last 4 weeks. Okay, in weeks for your 4 weeks of for your climate carbon literacy training. So your CLT was completely based on SDG 13, but we also realized within that climate action actually impacts everything else. It impacts poverty, it impacts social justice, it impacts gender equality. It impacts everything that we do, the way we live our lives, the quality of lives, our businesses, our societies. And so climate action is not an isolated SDG. It is something that has an impact on every walk of our lives in terms of business and in terms of society. That was what we did until now. For the next 5 weeks, including today, we're now going to be delving into each topic. And so what is going to happen is I'm going to take this topic today. I was meant to take this topic on the 22nd, and today was meant to be sustainable finance, but we have swapped with my colleague who's not able to do today, and so therefore he'll be doing the lecture on the 22nd. Now, from now on, we are looking at topics individually about each departments. So, for example, today we're going to be talking about digital transformation and artificial intelligence. And then we're going to be talking about other specialist subjects. Like, for example, next week, two of my colleagues from the Department of P&O, People and Organizations, formerly used to be called the Department of Human Resources Management, are going to take a lecture about the changing workplace. So changing ways of working, for example, remote working and hybrid working, how that impacts organizational performance, how that impacts the well-being of individuals and employees, mental and physical well-being both. So they'll be focusing on how that affects. Now that is relevant to everybody, regardless of what degree you're doing, because when we go out and work, we're working as employees. Or if you're running your own business, then you probably will be employing other people within your organization. So that's quite relevant, and that'll be affecting. Digital transformation and artificial intelligence, again, is very relevant to everybody, regardless of what degree you're doing, because that's changing the way businesses work and societies work now. In the week after that, we'll have somebody from the Department of Finance, Accounting and Risk, and my colleague Shahid Nawaz. He's going to be taking a lecture on sustainable finance. We'll be moving on then to Nick McCarroll from the Department of Law and Economics, and he'll be doing. He probably might be taking seminars for some of you, and he'll be talking about sustainable economics and law. And then we'll actually have in week 11, we'll have somebody called Nick Davis from the Fashion Marketing, Tourism and Events Department, and he'll be talking about sustainable consumption, fashion, international marketing, marketing branding, etc., and that sort of thing. In week 12, then I'll come back and we'll do a recap of whatever we learned so far. In the middle somewhere, I'll try and fit in, uh, just like a workshop we did last week for coursework 1, I'll have a workshop for coursework 2 as well. Okay, some of you might be wondering what we're doing with the reflective logs and all that kind of things. I'll talk in detail about it to you. The submission date for that one is 16th of December. So you got plenty of time. So do not panic if you're panicking already. Just focus on your coursework 1 right now. That's really important. Spend the next week or 10 days focusing on your coursework 1. We'll have plenty of time to discuss about coursework 2, and I'll give you all the instructions and details that you need for that coursework 2 as well. And I'll try and find some samples for you as well, so that you have complete awareness of what's going on, right? So today's topic is about digital transformation and artificial intelligence, something that we've been talking about and hearing about quite a lot over the last at least a year, but that's not a new topic. The developments are very new, but we've talked about machines replicating human behavior for a very long time, and this is all within that. So, digital transformation and artificial intelligence is our topic for today. Okay, so the lecture content that we're covering today is Introduction to Digital Transformation. What is it and why is it important? And then we'll move on to the second part, which is Introduction to Artificial Intelligence. What is artificial intelligence? Different types of artificial intelligence, and how does it work out in our everyday lives, and particularly in our businesses and societies. Keep the volume down, please, everybody. Please don't talk. We'll continue to talk about impact on business. We'll talk about impact on society, the future of work in society because of these things, and then applications in various sectors, so healthcare, gaming, streaming, etc., something that you're all familiar with. And then we'll finalize with these three topics here: synergy between artificial intelligence and digital transformation. Are they the same things? Are they different? What are the challenges and ethical considerations? And, and what's the future of artificial intelligence and digital transformation? So where is it heading towards? And that's really something that we'll talk about, right? Now, you might be looking at this as a topic, a theoretical concept or something. But in reality, we're all using this. So if you talk about automation, then there is digital transformation there. In the 1970s, late 60s, early 70s, you had a lot of banking industry in particular was moving on from paper-based things to computer-based things. Okay, so the processing that was happening on paper before, so if you go to a bank and you had to go to a bank, you'd be given a passbook in which the branch manager or whoever is dealing with you will write down how much sums you have. If you've withdrawn something, they'll actually say minus 200 pounds, and then they'll give you a balance. And every time you have to go and update your passbook. Now, that all started changing in the 1970s and 80s when most banks around the world started to use computer technology, because computer technology was emerging at the time. Without internet, remember. Now, we might find it very easy at the moment that we have a phone and we have an app of the bank. If you want to transfer any money to anybody, simply just click on a few things, press submit, and within seconds it's gone, right? It takes a fraction of a second now to do that. But imagine that was not the case before. There was no internet, so banks would actually then compute everything. They will save everything in disks, physical disks, hard drives, or disks. They used to call it floppy disks. I don't know whether you've seen one or not. And that was the way things were happening. So there was digitization happening or computerization happening at that time as well, in the 1970s and 60s and 80s, etc. It was not as sophisticated as it is now, but we have been transforming business processes for a very, very long time. And that's not changed right now. As technology has developed further, as internet has come in, we've actually just been able to introduce more processes, and we have been able to make it much more efficient and effective. So what does digital transformation mean? Digital transformation refers to process by which businesses, organizations, and societies integrate digital technologies into all areas of operations and activities, fundamentally changing how they function and deliver value. In the UK and globally, this transformation impacts business and society in profound ways, and we'll find out some of the things that we're doing now. So I was talking about, don't look at this as a concept in itself separately, okay? Look at this as something that you use on a day-to-day basis. Now, how many of you use Apple products here? I can see many of you doing that, right? Has anybody used Siri, the voice activated thing? Now, what is Siri? What does Siri do? It hears your voice, and the very basic thing it does is transforms an audio input into a text, converts audio into speech into text. That's the very basic thing, but that's not the only thing it does. What it does basically is processes that language. It tries to understand what you're trying to say, and it might try to predict what you might say next, so that before you say it, it's got the answers ready for you. Okay, so it's a web-based, intelligently thinking system that we all use on a day-to-day basis. Anybody uses Alexa here? That little device that you might have at home, and you might say, Alexa, play this music. What it's trying to do is it's trying to personalize something for you. Okay, so if I'm asking, so in the future, it might even become so personalized that it actually recognizes the voices of different family members or households. And so therefore your choices, because based on your voice, is different. It might recommend you different things compared to somebody else. If you go onto Netflix, for example, and you see there are certain recommendations, those recommendations are specifically tailored for you. Even if you create 4 accounts on Netflix, for example, one for me, one for my sister, one for my brother, one for my dad and mom, then those 5 people will have different suggestions and recommendations based on their histories and their accounts. Okay, all this is nothing but using digital platforms to change things. And I've got some examples about gaming as well, if you're interested in gaming. So basically, that word is really important here. Fundamentally changing how businesses and societies function and deliver value. That's really important. So digital transformation refers to the process of using digital technologies to create new or modifying existing business process and culture and customer experiences to meet changing business and market requirements. It goes beyond simply digitizing information like it used to happen in the 1970s and 80s. It is not simply converting what was on paper onto a computer. That was a very primitive thing. That was how it started. So digitization in 40 years ago, 50 years ago might just mean that we have to convert something that we have on paper onto computers. So it goes beyond simply digitizing information and focuses on integrating technology into all areas of a business, fundamentally changing how it operates and delivers value to customers. And key areas of digital transformation include cloud computing, data analytics, automation, and more efficient communication methods. That's really important to understand. And so there are some key aspects of digital transformation. For example, adoption of technology. Organizations may shift to cloud computing, artificial intelligence, big data analytics, Internet of Things, and automation to streamline operations. I'll give you an example in a moment, something I experienced and I was quite startled with. So data-driven decision making, a very important thing. There is abundance of data. We're talking about millions and billions of pieces of data now for people. By the way, these slides are available on GC Learn under week/units and weekly lectures. Customer-centric models. So we are talking about changing from product-centric behavior to customer-centric behavior, because we are now able to understand customers' preferences and choices. And so therefore, we're able to tailor to the needs of the customer in the way they want it. Automation and artificial intelligence, and digital skills and workforce. So how our working within organizations is changing on the basis of how digital kind of technology is changing the way people do their work on a day-to-day basis. Now, really interesting one about automation and efficiency in data management and analytics. About 4 or 5 years ago, I think it's 2020. I don't know whether it was before or after COVID. I think it was pre-COVID. I was traveling from one destination to another, and there was this person sitting next to me, a very young person, and I started talking to him, and I asked him what does he do, etc. And he said he's a software engineer. And I said, where do you work? And he said that he works for a company called Canada Post. Now, Canada Post is the equivalent to Washington Post. So what Washington Post is for the US, it's the equivalent of that to people in Canada. So Canada Post is where he was working for. And then he was saying that I create statistical models, software based, for Canada Post. Now, this was in August, I think, and there were elections in Canada in October. So he was working about, doing the polling, like you might have seen, for example, in the recent US polls. They were trying to predict, what kind of percentage of votes will Donald Trump get, and how many of those will Kamala Harris win, etc., and that sort of thing. They start doing predictions. Now that prediction is based on data. So when he told me that he creates models, my naive thinking and my limited knowledge suggested to me that what kind of data is he talking about? He might be talking about age, or gender, or educational qualifications, or where you live, your postcode. And on the basis of that, they might be able to predict that you're going to be voting for Justin Trudeau or somebody else, or Donald Trump, or etc. That's how people do. I was astonished completely that when he told me that they use 5,000 pieces of data for every single individual in Canada. So every person who was eligible to vote in Canada, they held 5,000 pieces of information about them. And I was like, what is that 5,000 pieces of information? I just knew about 5: age, gender, qualifications, etc. And he said, we know exactly what people's likes are, what their dislikes are, what kind of music they listen to, at what time of the day they listen to that, what kind of posts do they like on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat is it? Yeah, Snapchat. What kind of movies they like on Netflix? Do they prefer Netflix over Amazon Prime? Do they actually have a membership of Amazon Prime? So imagine this is what they have for every single individual's profile. And who gives them the data? Obviously, we do. So when we actually go on an Instagram and Facebook and WhatsApp and all of those things. Now, I'm not saying that there's a privacy issue. There's no privacy issue here because they're looking at this data collectively as a whole for all Canadians. And they look at 25% of people do this and 10% do that, and they live in this postcode, etc. So there's no threat to our data. I'm not saying that. But what I'm trying to say is it is much more sophisticated and a lot more complicated than what we actually think about it. Now, on the basis of all that data, he's able to create statistical models that'll help them to make a decision about that in this particular area of Ontario, for example, in Canada, people are going to vote for the Conservative Party, or people are going to vote for Justin Trudeau's party, or people are going to vote for the Labour Party, etc., etc. So that's what they're doing, and there's a lot of analytics involved in all that, and that's where we are at now. We're no longer talking about 5 things about gender and age and your postcode and qualifications and your job. That was the old way of doing things. There is a lot more enhanced communication and collaboration. The customer relationship management. So businesses and organizations are leveraging technology, digital technology, to be able to enhance their operations and services. Supply chain and inventory management, cybersecurity measures, personalization, customer experience, so many things. Now, if you look at the modern day football managers, let's say if you're interested in football or sport, you will know that they're not simply just relying on simple information that they have. They have every single information. There are analytics companies who are providing or selling information to football clubs, which then they use to understand how certain players behave, what kind of formations do different managers use, where do they like to place their players, how many substitutions do they do, in what match situation, what kind of substitutions they do. There is every single data available to them. And they do the analysis before they come onto the matches on Saturday or whenever they play. And so therefore, there is digital transformation has happened in every single field now, whichever field you think about. Okay. And that's really important. So we'll go into each of these and try and understand in what ways are these things impacting organizations. So first of all, automation and efficiency, the very basic fundamental task of digital transformation, which is replace repetitive tasks with digital technology. Now imagine a situation that you want to actually get a loan from the bank. Previously, you would actually go into the bank, you will tell them your details, your background, your salary, and where you live, etc., your capacity to pay, the amount that you want, and the bank manager or whoever you're dealing with, they'll do some calculations and they'll come back with a figure saying that we can give you £10,000 at 7.8% over a period of 5 years, and you have to pay so much. Now, these things can be done automatically. You don't have to really do that anymore. And so therefore, what banks have done, they've actually replaced that whole process with a simple app. You can go into the app, you can enter your details, and the bank will tell you, or a credit card company will tell you whether you're eligible or not, without ever speaking to anyone. That's a very simple example of automation. It reduces the need for manual inputting and minimizes errors. For example, robotic process automation in industries such as banking, as I was giving an example, can handle routine data entry, freeing human resources for more complex tasks. Tasks that involves a lot more thinking and complex intelligence. Automation enables real-time tracking and monitoring of operational processes, streamlining workflows and increasing productivity. Now, if you think about delivery drivers, let's say for Amazon, they're able to use apps, perhaps, in which they can enter where are they going to go to deliver all those things. Systems are present that can help people to create a map, the most effective and optimized route map to say, if you go here first, then go here second, go here third, you'll be able to cover all that area in so much time. So optimization and efficiency is what you gain by automation. Data management and analytics. I was talking to you about this Canada Post guy who uses 5,000 plus, and I'm talking about 6 years ago, so obviously that has enhanced now. Organizations utilize data management and analytics tools to process vast amounts of data for informed decision making. What does informed decision making mean? That means that you're using data specific to that individual or group of people, and then making a decision and tailoring your communication to that person. Now, about 3 or 4 years ago, the European Union, and UK was part of it, passed a law about saving information through cookies. So when you go to your new website, you might have seen that there is a page that comes up, says, do you accept cookies or not? Do you remember? Do you recall that? You all have to accept it or manage cookies or something else. What is that doing essentially? Is that it's basically saving your browsing behavior. And once you looked at that, it's going to be tailoring those ads to you. So the ads that I see are different from the ads that you see. And that is based on tailored behavior, your preferences, and what you want to see or what you want to buy. And that's what is informed decision making based on data. Big data analytics companies allows companies to analyze customer behavior, forecast market trends, and optimize internal processes to cater to those needs. And predictive analysis, machine learning algorithms, and business intelligence tools contribute to better strategic planning by providing insights into areas for growth and risk management. So companies are able to make those decisions based on the data that is provided to them. And so in that sense, not just about the processing of the knowledge about processing that data is important, the quality of the data is also important. It can't be just any kind of data. They have to process that data and they have to make sure that there is a good quality of data present there. Digital technologies are enhancing communication and collaboration between organizations as well. With the integration of communication platforms such as Slack, Microsoft Teams, and Zoom, organizations have improved internal and external communication channels. And for the last 5 years or so, particularly since COVID, we all have now started to use Teams as a very common communication channel. We never had the license. GCU didn't have a license for Teams before 2020 or 2021. And that was because we never needed it. You know, the meetings would always be on campus and there was no thing about hybrid. Some people use Zoom. I've used it once or twice to conduct a remote lecture where I couldn't be present physically. For example, we had a lecture in Mauritius. We have a partnership with the college there. We have lectures in Oman, and we have partnerships with colleges over there in Nepal. Now, we used to travel to do that before, but now we can do it on Teams or Zoom. And so that's made everything quite easier, cost effective, and effective in terms of delivery. Cloud computing facilitates seamless collaboration, allowing employees to access, share, and edit documents from any location. I've mentioned to you about creating a Word document on Office 365. What is that? That's cloud computing. And you can share information. You don't have to be present in one space. You can all be virtually present at the same time or at different times, but still be able to collaborate with each other. And that's so important. This capability is essential for remote work and global teams, fostering a cohesive work environment regardless of physical location. Now, I have supervised a student who actually works for Ofgem, and they have created a seminar. Focus, everybody. They have created a seminar, not a seminar, sorry, a dissertation, where they've actually assessed and evaluated the impact of hybrid working on the company's emissions overall, and also at the same time their employees' well-being, both physical and mental. And this is directly linked to that. There is a capability now for organizations to be able to work in a hybrid or remote manner. And companies are doing that. And most companies have a 2-day work week, not a 2-day work week as such, but 2 days work from home or 3 days work from home and come to the office sometimes. And companies are able to save money on that as well, plus save their emissions. Customer relationship management. CRM systems such as Salesforce and HubSpot help businesses manage customer interactions much more effectively in a real-time manner, provide solutions to customers, and catering to their personalized needs. By storing customer information, purchase histories, and preferences, the thing that I was just talking about, CRM software enables personalized customer service, targeted marketing campaigns, and efficient handling of customer queries. And this personalization improves customer satisfaction. Customers are more loyal to the company, and companies are able to retain more customers because of that as well. And you got supply chain and inventory management. And there are many, many examples. I can't go into each detail of them for the lack of time. If I start talking about them, we'll probably spend about a few hours really talking about them. So there are many examples of supply chain inventory, cybersecurity. This is a critical area because with the amount of data that you're talking about, and I believe a majority of us, if not everybody, perhaps uses online banking. You use purchases online. You go to Amazon or eBay or other websites where you buy from. You use your card when you go and buy something from a supermarket. So all that data is being stored somewhere. And so therefore that could be a threat. It's really important to have strong cybersecurity systems so that companies don't lose your trust. And we keep hearing all the time that a company's systems were hacked and all the banking details were stolen. Have you heard of those news in the past? It happened with Netflix, it happened with some more companies, happens with councils, happens with government. They have all our data. And so it's really important that companies do not lose our trust, who are the most important stakeholders, without those security measures. Personalization and customer experience is a very important one. Technology, particularly artificial intelligence, that we'll talk about in a moment, allows businesses to personalize customer experiences by analyzing preferences and delivering customized recommendations. Streaming services, such as your Netflix, your YouTube, your Amazon Prime, e-commerce platforms, such as Amazon or eBay or Vinted, and financial services, your banks, insurance companies, use artificial intelligence to enhance user experience, leading to increased customer satisfaction and customer retention, a very important point for most of the businesses. And finally, I can't but not talk about sustainability and environmental management. That's my most favorite topic. Organizations are increasingly using technology to reduce their environmental impact. Okay, and remote working is one good example of that. They're trying to use renewable energy to reduce their emissions as well. Energy management software, renewable energy sources, and efficient waste management technologies help businesses adopt sustainable practices, aligning operations with environmental goals and regulatory compliance. There are lots of things that companies must report about. And to be able to report it, they have to measure them. And that could be emissions, that could be gender balance, that could be how pay is divided amongst men and women in the company, how many men, how many women, etc. All that are compliant issues that companies must be able to report to the governments. So overall, digital transformation can help organizations to improve operational efficiency, increase their customer reach and engagement, retain more customers so that the customers are more loyal, accelerate innovation, and enhance adaptability and responsiveness. So digital technologies and transformation can really help organizations become much more competitive. They can gain a competitive advantage over their competitors by actually adopting more technology, by investing in more technology and accelerating innovation within that. Because they know by doing so, customers will come to us and they'll stay with us, and that'll mean more profits and more revenues, etc., or more satisfied customers. So in summary, technology plays an essential role in optimizing operational efficiency, enhancing customer experience, and fosters an environment conducive to rapid and continuous innovation. This provides companies with a competitive advantage, like I just mentioned. And through these strategic applications and by integrating technology in the business process and operations, business can adapt to changing market demands and maintain resilience in an evolving technological landscape. Because by not doing so, they're actually taking a huge risk. A continuity of the business might depend on what kind of digital technologies they're adapting to. If they don't, then they might not survive. And this also enables organizations to respond dynamically to evolving market demands and drive sustainable growth in a rapidly digitalizing world. So you can't escape digital transformation as an organization or as a society for the fear of being left behind or losing your customers if you want to do that. And I've provided some examples here. There are plenty of examples, much more than that. I've taken some examples of private sector, and I've taken some examples of the public sector. And you got these different companies. Now I've got some slides about each of these, which I would like you to read. Perhaps I might just look at one or two of them, maybe one from the private sector and one from the public sector. So first of all, the Lloyds Banking Group. What has Lloyds done, but not just Lloyds, any banking group? What they've done is they've invested heavily in digital transformation to enhance customer experience and streamline operations. The bank developed mobile apps, I believe everybody uses that, and online platforms that offer comprehensive banking services from simple transactions to investment management. So you can basically sit at home and you can invest in companies through trading apps, through the bank or privately. You can do all your banking through the app itself. If you're working, you get your salary through your account. You can use that salary to move about in different accounts with the bank, or you can pass it on to other people if you want. It has also incorporated AI-driven chatbots to handle customer inquiries and improve response times. So you don't have to employ an army of people who are responding to your queries. You can simply just have chatbots who are intelligent and they can respond exactly in the same way that a human being might have. Additionally, Lloyds has integrated machine learning and fraud detection to improve security and customer trust so that there is no data breach. And so therefore all our data is protected. And that's really an important thing. I've got another example of Tesco. I'm not going to go into it, but this relates to all supermarkets, not just Tesco itself. I've got British Airways and all airlines, the whole market. And I've got NHS Digital. Now, I'm going to take that example. The National Health Service has made significant strides in digital transformation to improve patient care and streamline health services. Now, I know that not many people use this for booking appointments with your GP or to checking. Not many people do it. Some of you probably might be doing it, but that's not become very common. However, NHS Digital became very popular. It had to during COVID. So people could actually receive their digital certificates, your vaccine certificates. And if you're flying out and you have to show it to the airline, you could actually use it for that purpose. So the subscription of NHS Digital increased significantly during a period of time, but it has not sustained since then. However, that is not to say that that will not happen in the future. NHS Digital launched platforms like NHS App, which allows patients to book appointments, view their medical records, and request prescriptions online. It has also embraced digital tools for remote consultations, particularly during COVID-19 pandemic, with video and telephone consultations becoming very common. Additionally, NHS Digital uses data analytics for population health management, allowing for proactive care by identifying at-risk groups and monitoring public health trends. Now, this is the most important application of using digital within NHS. They're able to predict behavior, illnesses, and diseases within certain groups of people. They can predict illnesses and behavior by looking at trends of certain postcodes, and they're able to then target policies and healthcare towards those certain groups. For example, we now know that 40 plus age groups among the Asian community is much more prone to heart diseases and diabetes. So they can then target specifically to those communities. And so therefore, understanding data, using that data to understand trends is really an important application within digital technologies. I've given another example of a public sector organization, HM Revenues and Customs. So please go and read that as well. Your tax filing has become much more easier and people can simply just do it online. And also for employers who file the tax on behalf of other people is also there. Moving on to the second part and the final part of our lecture today, artificial intelligence. Now, you might have heard about this a lot, but it's important to understand this from a fundamental perspective. What is it? How does it impact organizations and businesses and societies? So artificial intelligence is a branch of computer science. So it's basically the way computer programming works, focused on creating machines that can simulate human intelligence. Artificial intelligence enables computers and systems to perform tasks that typically require human intelligence, such as understanding natural language, recognizing patterns, problem solving, and making decisions. And I've taken some examples of, for example, Siri or Alexa, and I'm going to take them in the future as well. Now, this is really interesting. This system is designed in such a way that it simulates human intelligence. Now, so far, we've never thought that there could be any system that could simulate human intelligence effectively. There might be some machines they might have built that can replicate human action and behavior, still using human intelligence. But there has been no systems created so far, at least that's what we think, unless the scientists are hiding something from us, that can completely simulate human intelligence and thinking and behavior. But that's where we're heading now. So you will now see in the next few years' time, all this digital processing technology, all the capability of processing millions and billions of pieces of data at the same time at a fast speed, you're able to then create systems. And some of the key examples of this could be, have you heard about the driverless cars? That's been tested in the US a lot over the last 5 to 7, 10 years or so. So cars that, you don't have to have a driver in there. So if, for example, if you're calling a taxi, the taxi comes to you. So you basically call Uber or you go to the app and you call the taxi. The taxi comes to you without any driver in it. Basically sit in the car and it just drives you away, drops you at the destination. Now, what's happening in that technology? They've got hundreds and thousands of sensors around the cars to protect you. Now, there are ethical concerns here, obviously. There are safety concerns here, but that's all been worked on. And that's why it has not become widespread. But in the next 5 years, you might not require taxi drivers anymore. And that's because all this technology is coming, and that is all based on digital transformation, your capability of processing millions of pieces of data at the same time in real time. Because when you're driving that car, or whoever is driving that car, they need to have that information, just like human beings do. Okay, and then hopefully that'll have more safety, and the system can make decisions like we do. So AI technologies, including machine learning, algorithms that allow systems to learn from data, neural networks and natural language processing, enabling machines to understand human language, computer vision, which allows machines to interpret visual information. So now you can actually search through videos and images as well. Instead of just searching on Google by text, you can actually copy and paste an image, and that can actually find images around similar ones for you. And robotics, of course, which involves automation of physical tasks. I don't know if you've been following, but in the last 4 weeks or so, Elon Musk has actually introduced a humanoid robot, which is a robot that looks and acts and behaves like a human being. And that could be used for household tasks, household chores, your cooking, your washing, and all of those things. It is priced at about $35,000, I think, at the moment. So AI plays a significant role in automating processes, enhancing decision making, and improving efficiencies across industries. In short, AI is the simulation of human intelligence. It's not just replication. Simulation and replication are two different words. Simulating is thinking on its own and trying to simulate human behavior as if there was no precedence to it. AI is the simulation of human intelligence in machines that are programmed to think. That was only a capability that human beings had so far. Think, learn, and adapt, and act on the basis of that. And there are two types of AI, generally speaking. There is a narrow AI, or there is a general AI, also called as weak AI or strong AI. But don't go by the name to say if it's weak, it's not good, and strong means it's very good. What we are using right now is all weak AI. It's all narrow AI, which is speech and language processing and visual interpretation. And whatever we have right now, it's all examples of narrow AI. So narrow AI, so AI systems are often categorized by the level of autonomy and sophistication. Narrow AI systems are those that are designed to perform specific tasks like speech recognition or image classification, and are the most common today. And the other category is the general AI or the strong AI, representing a theoretical level of intelligence similar to human cognition, enabling a machine to apply intelligence across a wide range of tasks. Now, you might have also heard about this example from Elon Musk, which is called the Neuralink. Has anyone heard of that? Anyone heard of the Neuralink? Here? Yeah? Nope. Okay. So basically what they're doing is they're basically implanting a chip in a human brain. And that's going to have then a behavior change, or the system can actually read what you're saying or what you're thinking, and that could have multiple applications. Of course, there are ethical issues behind it, there are safety issues behind it, but there are companies who are actually working on these technologies now. So that might be an example of general AI. Represents a theoretical level of human intelligence similar to human cognition, enabling a machine to apply intelligence across a wide range of tasks. So a driverless car would be an example of a general AI. So though general AI remains a concept in research at the moment, rapid advancements in narrow AI have made it transformative in many fields in the future. So artificial intelligence, just going into a bit of a history of this, is it an old concept or a new concept? And we have to look at it from a digital transformation perspective as well. So there are some foundational ideas and early concepts that was given to us about 75, 80, 90 years ago. And scientists like Alan Turing contributed significantly to foundational AI theory with Turing's work on computable numbers and Turing test, a concept aimed at determining if a machine could exhibit human-like intelligence. So previously, all the work that was being done on digital transformation and AI was about replication of human work through machines. Okay. Has anybody watched this movie called Back to the Future? Anyone? If you remember, the very opening scene was what? This guy was trying to, he wakes up, he wears his clothes, the machine is helping him to do that. The machine then pours some milk and some cereal and then burns a toast. So this machine was like the size of a whole room, right? Now that was what? That was not replication of intelligence. That was replication of action and behavior. But that's how it used to be before, that they were trying to replicate human behavior and action. But as times passed, the very first definition of the word use artificial intelligence was by um, there's a scientist called McKinsey, I think. So AI systems are often categorized by the level of autonomy and sophistication. And narrow AI systems are designed to perform specific tasks like speech recognition or image classification. And general AI represents, as I said, closer to human cognition. And that's made it much more easier. Um, Artificial intelligence as the term was first used in 1956. So there was no term like that before that. So it's still been about 75 years since that was done. And advances in computing power, data availability, and statistical methods sparked the growth of machine learning. So machine learning came before before artificial intelligence in the way we know it now. It's a subfield of artificial intelligence focused on data-driven algorithms that improve through experience. So the more time passes, the more data it has, the better it's going to process it. Machine learning algorithms such as neural networks achieved success in language processing, computer vision, and pattern recognition, marking a shift from rule-based systems to data-centered AI. And this is what we have as a modern system now. In the 2010s, breakthroughs in deep learning, an approach to machine learning involving large neural networks, revolutionized AI applications. And that has led to advancements in areas such as image and speech recognition, culminating in achievements like IBM's Watson winning Jeopardy, the game in 2011, and the success of AlphaGo in defeating human champions in the game of Go. So computer systems taking over human games. Major tech companies have now invested in AI research, such as the ones examples I gave you from Elon Musk, resulting in widespread applications in consumer products, business solutions, and autonomous vehicles. And that's what we'll see over the next 5 or 7 years, 10 years as well. So in summary, today, AI continues to evolve rapidly. And while general AI remains a theoretical goal, narrow AI systems have become integral to daily life and industry. The ongoing research in ethics, AI fairness, and data security reflects the societal impact of AI and the need for responsible innovation as we progress towards increasingly autonomous systems. And that will become a really point of concern going into the future, which means how can we protect data and how can we provide more fairness in the way AI works. Now, I gave you the example of Siri. That's an example. What does it do? Natural language processing to understand and interpret spoken language. When a user speaks to Siri, the system converts audio input into text, which is the most basic and fundamental thing it does. And then it interprets the intent behind the text. So what are you trying to say? To respond with relevant information or actions. And there is machine learning for personalization, speech recognition, and contextual awareness. For example, if a user asks about weather in one city and then says, and tomorrow, Siri will already have an answer to that because the system has processed intent. And that's really important. There are other examples of that as well. For example, Alexa, voice recognition, user intent, machine learning, contextual understanding, same with Netflix and same with YouTube. YouTube also can generate automatic subtitles. Even though the authors of that video might not have really created subtitles, YouTube can do it on its own. What it's doing essentially in the background, it's using AI technology to be able to do that. And then another application, which probably some of you might be more familiar with the outcome of it, is artificial intelligence in gaming. which has transformed the gaming industry by creating more immersive, engaging, and realistic experiences for players. And I've got an example in the next slide here. So these are talking about advanced animations. And the most important one is this final one here, virtual and augmented reality experiences. You will more and more see VR and AR, augmented reality and virtual reality applications more in the future. And that'll be, for example, if you go to a museum, you'll be given devices that you can actually help you to understand something from history coming in reality in front of you, as if it was happening in front of you, as if you were involved and immersed in that event. And that's where we're going towards: more immersive, more engaging, and more realistic experiences for players. Now, some of you might be familiar with these games. um, Anyone played Fortnite here? You do? Yes. Right. So what you see in front of you is basically what Fortnite does. It uses AI bots, which is robots really playing with you, for matchmaking and to populate games, allowing players of all skill levels to compete while keeping the game's pace consistent. So that there's a whole lot of systems working in the background to be able to enhance that experience for you in the foreground. And that's where digital transformation and AI is being used to enhance your user experience. Your experience will be different to somebody else's experience because everybody has their different skill levels. Everybody is playing in a different context. The system recognizes that context and skill level and gives you what you see on the screen on the basis of that. And so therefore that gives you the maximum satisfaction out of playing that game. Alien Isolation, anyone? Yes, you have played. Okay. So it uses an advanced AI to control the alien enemy, allowing it to adapt its behavior to the player's actions, creating a challenging and unpredictable experience. And that experience will be different for different people on the basis of your preferences, right? And FIFA football, anybody plays FIFA here? Perhaps you might have, some of you may have. It controls your teammates, opponents, and even the crowd's reactions when you're playing the game, adjusting gameplay based on the player's skills and tactics. So what I said in the beginning to you was, do not look at digital transformation and artificial intelligence as a theoretical concept only. Look at this as something that you use on a daily basis without realizing it perhaps many times, whether it be banking, whether it be in a communication, whether it be gaming or anything else. It's there everywhere around us. In summary, AI in gaming not only creates more sophisticated, adaptive experiences, but also plays a critical role in game development, graphics, rendering, and even game testing. As AI advances, its impact on the gaming industry will only grow, enabling games to become even more immersive, personalized, and challenging for players. It's going to increase a lot more, and you will see the VR and AR becoming a lot more common in the future as well. Okay, we are coming towards the end of this the lecture now, so please bear with us for a few more minutes. As we have been doing for the last few weeks, not taking a break and they're just completing early. So that's what I'm aiming to do today. It's really important to not just understand this as a concept of digital transformation and artificial intelligence, but at the same time, in the context of our module, it's really important that we look at what is the impact of this on businesses and how does artificial intelligence and digital transformation impact society. Now, there are a lot more applications than what I've mentioned here, but it's important to understand that these are the specific ones that I've chosen. So automation and efficiency, the most common and fundamental application. Automate repetitive tasks, make them faster, and help systems to take real-time decisions. Job market evolution. We will see now that there are new jobs that will be emerging in the AI development, data science, and cybersecurity, and we have to keep pace to it. And innovation and startups. These are the challenges. Now, what's important here is that one of the barriers that people see is barriers of investment and most likely barriers of not having enough information or not having the tools to analyze trends. But now, using digital transformation and AI, anybody who wants to start a business is able to find those data online, processed, telling you about trends, what products sell, what products don't sell. So even something as simple as retail business, if you want to start a business on eBay or Amazon tomorrow, you're able to look at the trends about what products sell more, what products sell less, and that sort of thing. So you're able to look at that. And so therefore, the barriers for you are reduced significantly. Social media for promoting products and using AI to analyze market trends, that's becoming very common. How about society? Uh, Quiet, please, everybody. Pay attention. AI in healthcare, it is helping doctors diagnose diseases faster and more accurately, and robots are assisting in surgeries remotely. So you will see probably that the doctor is in a different room and the surgery is happening through machines, and that's becoming a lot more common now. Telemedicine powered by digital transformation allows patients to consult doctors from their homes, and that's happening, or that happened a lot in COVID time. And of course, we have smart cities and transportation. AI can manage traffic, reduce accidents, and help cities become more sustainable by managing energy efficiently. If there is a requirement for driverless cars, or if there is this trend becoming a reality in the future, in a widespread manner, then there has to be some sort of a collaboration between the governments, the local councils, and the laws of the country to be able to make it much more successful. Autonomous cars and public transportation systems could make travel faster and safer in the future. But the most important impact that I feel of artificial intelligence could be in finding solutions to climate change. AI can offer powerful tools to tackle climate change by improving data analysis, which could be its most important application, enabling much more efficient energy use, optimizing resource management, and supporting climate research. So AI can actually help us to find solutions. So if you're writing your coursework, one question one, if you think that there is scope for AI-based solutions, try and see what those could be, because you can then write it in your assignment itself. Some of the applications of AI in tackling climate change could be predicting and monitoring climate change. So extreme weather events could be predicted in advance so that damage because of them to property and human beings could be reduced. Reducing greenhouse gas emissions, one of the most important emergencies right now. Optimizing renewable energy and clean technologies. Sustainable agriculture and land use, so they can actually monitor deforestation rates and they can reduce them. They can monitor livestock management. It can help farmers to actually make more efficient decisions and reduce the levels of methane, for example. Enhancing climate adaptation and resilience. So how can we respond better to disasters? How can we actually have a better disaster management response? And we are more prepared about it. We got infrastructure that is more resistant and resilient to the changes in the climate. And how can we improve water management using artificial intelligence and digital technologies? Some of the examples again are about Google's Project Sunroof, or Microsoft AI for Earth, and DeepMind's wind energy forecasting. DeepMind is also owned by Google, by the way, and Sunroof is also owned by Google, and this is Microsoft's. What they're providing is systems that can help to process vast amounts of data to help us tackle problems with climate change, support governments to create infrastructure that will help people avoiding the worst effects of storms and floods and forest fires and that sort of thing. Sadly, I think they probably didn't use it, or they were not aware of these systems in Spain last week, and that's caused a lot of flooding and damage to property, and hundreds of people have lost their lives. So in summary, AI can make a substantial impact on combating climate change by improving efficiency, optimizing resource use, and informing policy. So it's not just about companies who can use it. I think the government can use it, the United Nations can use it as well. The application of AI in climate change must also address challenges like energy intensive computing. Now, we have discussed this in our seminars perhaps in the past, that even though sending a text message or an email might just take a minute amount of energy, but if you think about the background of it, there is a huge amount of energy required to run those cloud servers and process all that text and the emails traffic that we have. As the technology evolves, AI has the potential to play a transformative role in climate action, helping to reduce emissions, manage resources more sustainably, and build resilience against climate-related risks. So, for example, Japan, they've been able to use technology to build buildings that are resistant to earthquakes or high intensity earthquakes, and they've been able to save lives and property damage because of that reason. Okay, so they're able to look at data and look at the intensity of earthquakes on average, and they're able to then build buildings that can withstand a certain seismic shock. So technology has to be used in the betterment of human society, and that's a really important aspect. Whether AI and digital transformation are two different things, perhaps not. Digital transformation is a way of using automation, and AI can probably enhance that further. So AI-driven automation and decision making is what the linkage between the two could be. It could help to enhance customer experiences, for example, through chatbots. Chatbots could be intelligent systems and recommendation engines, such as used in Netflix or Amazon Prime, predictive analytics for market trends and demand forecasting, and impact on business models. So data is not a liability. Some people might think that there's too much data now, but we have the capability to process that data. And so therefore it's an asset that we need to use. And most importantly, I think organizations are now realizing that it's not just about product-centric approaches. It's about customer-centric approaches or service-centric approaches where they can be tailored to individual customer needs. And that'll be quite a useful thing. But it's not an easy thing to do. The problem at the moment is some of the challenges. We don't have enough people to understand these skills. There are people, as we mentioned in one of our first lectures when we had the guest lecture, and she mentioned, if you have looked at the video on GC Learn, she said that there is a 57% gap in people with green skills. Similarly, there is a huge gap with people with digital skills and artificial intelligence. You don't have to be a computer scientist to be able to understand these things. You can learn data processing by using applications, and that skill gap is hugely there in the workforce. But there is also barriers in terms of legacy systems. We've been using systems for decades now, and we don't have an alternative. These systems can't just be kind of inputted there and embedded there without really changing them fundamentally. And that would require a huge amount of initial investment, which is where a number of governments would struggle. So there'll be a different pace of development in different countries. But the most important problem is of ethical concerns. Pay attention, everybody. Another 7 minutes left. There are ethical concerns, and this is really, really very serious. You might have noticed that on Twitter and other social media, there's a lot of hate being posted on these sites. When people post something, there's a lot of hatred or hate-filled posts. Why do you think that happens, and what is the role of artificial intelligence in that? So systems are perhaps not able to recognize the difference between a majority of posts of certain kinds and that being the truth. Pay attention, everybody, please. 5 more minutes, please. Thank you. Systems are not able to recognize the difference between hate-filled posts and non-hate-filled posts. So for example, there are 100 posts for a certain something that somebody has posted, a video or a news piece, something, and there are 70 people who've written hate about that. And there are 30 people or 20 people who've written good things about it, and there are 10 people who are neutral. Systems don't have the capacity, perhaps the capability to recognize that just because 70 people are saying that, a majority, that must be truth. So what the software system does, it keeps circulating more and more and more and more hate, which is why you see that people are actually being influenced by it. And so therefore, there is a lot more hatred in society amongst each other. So you got to be really careful about what you post, what you look, what you like, because systems don't have the capacity at the moment efficiently to be able to identify the difference between hate post and a non-hate post as efficiently as we would like. And that's causing a huge ethical concern right now. And companies such as Twitter, for example, owned by Elon Musk, are not willing to put in systems in place to remove those hate-filled posts, similar to Facebook and some other companies as well. So bias and fairness in AI algorithms, that's a huge challenge and one ethical concern. Data privacy and security, of course, is also another one, which is to protect people and to hold their trust. And there is a huge impact because of these on future jobs and future of work. It is important that we look at the trends in artificial intelligence. How can we address those ethical concerns? So the decisions that are made by systems using AI could be made more transparent. So people can be given more information about how systems make decisions, and that makes us more informed as a society. AI in edge computing, for example, real-time computing can be dangerous. For example, used in autonomous cars or driverless cars. Safety should be a prime concern, and without that, we can't really bring in anything like on the roads without really testing it out. There is going to be an impact on future of work, and so therefore it's important there is human AI collaboration. We can't just let AI systems to rule everything, and that'll be quite a disastrous thing. but it's also important that upskilling and reskilling for a digital future is really important amongst the workforce. And therefore, universities and colleges and governments have to start investing. But we also should be also aware that there is going to be a long-term societal change, and something that we must all embrace. We can't isolate ourselves from the changes in the society, particularly with regards to digital transformation and artificial intelligence. It's something really important that industries, education, and global economies will be redefined. It'll be different from what we know right now, and that'll be a big change. So, what we've kind of gone through today is what is digital transformation and artificial intelligence, the synergy between digital transformation and artificial intelligence. How does these two impact business and societies? Some of the applications of digital transformation and some of AI, and its impact on climate change, most importantly, and what are the key challenges and ethical considerations and the future impact of these things. So that's what we wanted to really cover today. Thank you very much, everybody,